Hi Flosstube friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. Today is May 31st, 2023, and I am here with my month-end wrap-up regarding my cross-stitching. So thank you so much for stopping by to visit with me. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my whips that I've been working on this month. If you've been to my channel before, you'll know that I do a rotation of 4 projects, a small, a medium large, and a large project. And then I have a few Sunday stitches that I throw in each week just to work on a random project from my whip wheel, just to change things up a little bit and to allow me to still work on some of my other whips that are sitting in my whip pile, waiting to be slotted into my rotation. So let's start with the small category. In this category, I'm actually working on a series, and I'm counting it as one whip or one work in progress. And that series is The Year in Chalk by Hands On Design. So I've completed a number of these already. Last month in my video, I had just started April. So I will show you a picture of where that was the last time you would have seen it. And I did finish this one. So there it is, Hello Spring. So that one I finished. So then I started on this particular one, which is for the month of May. And this is how far I got on that one. So a little bit of a start. So I should be able to finish this one this month and start to work on June. So yeah, I think I have June, July, August, September left to do. So I have 4 more after I complete May. And then that series will be done. My medium whip is a project called, oh, and let me go back. So these are done on a 32 count gunmetal gray by Weeks Dye Works. I am doing the white just with B5200. The pattern calls for chalk, which I did buy 1 skein of chalk, and when I started it I used the chalk, but I quickly ran out and realized that it was more economical and probably made more sense just to go with a regular DMC white for the amount that you use, and there's not really any variegation in the chalk. So the colors each month, some of them are the called for colors, some of them are just colors I've picked that I thought, you know, sort of went with the designer's choice or kind of matched up with the called for threads. So yeah, so my medium project then is a pattern called Stallion, and I'll put a photo of what it will look like when it's done here. This is from a designer on Etsy, Anna Duplant, or Duplant. And then yeah, I'll put a photo in of where it would have been the last time that you saw it. And here is where it is now. So yeah, so I filled in quite a bit more on this one. So this is the pattern, if you're new here, that I am color completing. I've never really done a full project completing each color as you go, and the designer includes, she obviously includes a traditional pattern with all the symbols and all the colors on it, but she also gives you a page for each color. So it makes it really easy to color complete. Unfortunately, the pattern's not Pattern Keeper compatible. At least when I bought it, it wasn't. So that makes it a little bit more challenging because you don't have anything to count off of. But as I do more colors, then I can obviously tell if I'm making a mistake, if something doesn't line up properly. But and I'm doing a little slideshow. I take a picture each time I complete a color, and so I'm making a slideshow as I go along. So eventually when I complete it, then I'll have this slideshow that shows each color being added, which is kind of fun to follow along. But I did include that little video clip in the last video, but I'm not going to do it every month. but I'll maybe do it next month or the month after just to show the progress up to that point. But yeah, so Stallion, so he's getting there. A few more colors. I think there's maybe 10 or 11 more colors left. And some don't even have that many stitches, so they shouldn't take too long to finish. So my medium large was Christmas Village by Sarah Germani. And I'll put a picture in here of what it'll look like when it's done. And I'll put a picture of where it was the last time you saw it. And yeah, I actually finished it, which is very exciting because that whip's been in my whip pile since 2019, I think. So that felt really nice to finish it. And not only have I finished it, but I fully finished it. But I'm gonna save that for a little bit. Happy finishes, everyone. I'm gonna save that for a little bit because it's gonna tie in a little bit to Fun Finds on Instagram. So you have to wait a little bit to see that, and I'll show you. So my large project is my Behind the Bit, which you all know fairly well if you've been here before and watched any of my videos. Again, this is my oldest whip that I've been working on the longest, and it's been a focus project for a little while. So you'll see, you've been probably following along, watching it month to month if you're a regular viewer. I'll put a photo in here, what it will look like when it's finished. And then here's where it was the last time that you saw it. And here, I kind of like to do what Amy Loves Toads does. Look at his head, he's so handsome. But I think this one's too big. Because she's able to keep her photo of what it looked like before and hold up her where it is now. But I think he's too big to do that, So yeah, I've just started working on, I think I completed one column and I've started on the next column because I'm working all the way down. Those, so that's like 2 pages, like one on top of the other. So I'm just working all the way down the 2 pages because this one is pattern keeper compatible. So it's really easy just to work your way all the way down the column to the bottom of the pattern. So that's why I've decided to finish stitching them. So yeah, he's getting there. Still going to be a little while yet, but I always enjoy working on this pattern. It is a nice combination of, like there is some confetti, but it's not really confetti heavy. So there's a fair bit of solid stitching, which makes it quite nice to stitch on. So those are my 4 focus projects. The other project I work on every month is my temperature cell by Alpha Dot Polka Dot. No, I'm sorry. Apricot Polka Dot is the designer, and I will put all this all of this information in the drop-down box below if you're looking for pattern information or where to get patterns or designer informations or any Etsy shops I mention or any YouTubers I mention. I'll list that all down below, but if you have any questions about anything, just feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer them for you. So yeah, so here is a picture of what that looked like before. I'm really enjoying this temperature cell. I've discovered anyway that I love that it's just pure color, that there isn't any extra stuff going on, because I did start the year with a couple others like that I thought would be fun, but turned out they weren't as fun as I wanted them to be. But this one, I love sitting down on Sunday mornings, looking up the temperatures to see what colors I get to work with, and then stitching these little hearts. So here is where we are now. Look at all those pretty colors. So yes, it's warming up. So we're getting some greens and yellows and oranges. Those red ones, that's when we had a little hot spell there back in April. But yeah, the colors are so fun. This seems so citrusy to me. It's starting to feel summery, so it'll be fun to add some more of those warmer colors as time goes on. This week's gonna be pretty warm, so it'll be fun to see what next Sunday will look like. But yeah, so that's fun, coming along, coming along. So that is all sort of my regular stitching, rotation stitching. So then I had some Sunday stitches. So on Sundays, I take a break from my rotation. Usually I'll spin my whip wheel and just let the wheel pick something for me to work on. So I did that. This one actually was from the last weekend in April, which happened after my last video. So I'm including it in this one just so that you can see. So I spun my whip wheel that weekend and it picked this Dimensions Gold Collection Petite Quiet Night, featuring the artwork of Fred Swan. I love his artwork. I have several patterns featuring his artwork. I did stitch on this a little bit before, so I'll throw in a photo here of where it was before. I didn't have a lot done. And here, see if I can do it this time. If I put that there, then I can maybe just cover my face up with the other one and you can see the other one compared to now. So yeah, got a bit more done on that. Started there's a tree there. That's what the black is. So yeah, that's a fun little stitch. And then the next weekend, the first weekend in May, I spun my whip wheel and it chose my Dimensions Christmas stocking. It's called Gifts for All. This is an out of print kit. And yeah, I'll put a photo here of where it was the last time that you saw it. And here is where it is now. So just a little bit, I've just done a little bit more on his coat. His sleeve. So yeah, I'm all done down in the toe there. Obviously there's the back stitching to do. I really just have to finish Santa's coat is where I'm at. And then all of the back stitching, the long stitches. I think there's a bit of cording I have to do in the horse's bridle. It's gonna be beautiful, I think, when it's done. Can't wait. Then the next Sunday was Mother's Day Sunday. So I decided I was just going to choose myself what I felt like stitching on that weekend. And I just really felt like working on this Talon emblem. I have a hard time saying those two words together. This is the Birdies and Berries series. And this is the cardinal. This was a start along with my friend Kim. Hi, Kim. So I put a little bit more work in on mine. How's yours coming along, Kim? I think Kim had stitched a bit of the cardinal. I'm making myself wait to stitch him last. And I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with all the stuff around the border. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all that or not. I did, oh here, I'll throw a photo, there's where it was before. And I apologize, I'm terrible for telling you what fabrics and what flosses. So if you have questions about anything, let me know. These are stitched on a 32 count natural linen with the called for DMC, and there are a few hand-dyed flosses, which I also have those called for ones, but this is all DMC. So this is where I'm at now. So I'm almost done that frame. I did start with the border stuff up here with this little symbol. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to put all that stuff in around the border or not, but I'm actually glad I have that there because it makes it easy to know what's the top. Because I started in that top left corner. And then my next weekend, I did a little bit of secret stitching. that I can't share with you right now, but hopefully I can share that at some point down the road. Excuse me. And then last weekend, I decided to do a new start. I've been trying not to do new starts, but I stumbled across this designer on Etsy and fell in love with this pattern, and decided I really wanted to stitch it, and I wanted to stitch it now, and I wanted to try stitching it on 25 count 1/1 because I've never done that before. Usually I stitch my full coverage on 18 count Aida 2/1. So it's going to be a few new things for me. So this pattern is called Cute Kitten, and this is what it looks like. How cute is that? I call him Chunky Kitten. Oh, he's just so adorable. So I'm stitching this on 25 count Ivory Lugana with the called for DMC threads. This pattern is Pattern Keeper compatible, which is really nice. The designer's name is the Country Creative Stitches, and I will link their Etsy shop down below. They do have some really nice patterns. I actually purchased another one that I'd like to stitch someday, but it's really big, and I don't know if I'll ever get to it, or if I start it, if I'll ever finish it, but we'll see. We'll see. So here's what I have so far. It's an ear. Look at how tiny those stitches are. Oh my goodness. I'm still on the fence. I'm trying to decide if I really, really like stitching 1/1 on 25 count, or if I don't like stitching 1/1 on 25 count. But we'll see. I think I'm liking it more and more as I kind of get used to it. But I go back and forth a little bit. I did discover, like sometimes I will stitch late at night, but I did discover trying to stitch this late at night if I'm tired. Obviously the lighting's not as good because it's darker. I did find it harder work. And I guess it is a little bit more intensive stitching. So it's not quite as relaxed for me anyway, or at least yet. So I found it hard to watch TV while I was stitching on this because of all of the counting and the little tiny stitches. And it doesn't help that a lot of the colors are very similar. And when you only have one thread, like there's even less color to sort of differentiate between different shades of gray or different shades of tan. So, but yeah, I'm liking how it's turning out, and I'm going to persist. And again, I think I really like stitching on 25 count 1/1, but I think I need a little bit more time to figure that out. So that is Cute Kitten. Isn't he cute? He's so adorable. So that is it for all of my stitching. I'm gonna leave plans till later on because again, I want to talk about some other things. So I'm gonna jump into Happy Mail. I did get a few things in the mail this month. I ordered a couple of kits from an online shop. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you know I stitched that little tiny farm scene. It sort of had a spring, summer, fall, winter. And I just really enjoyed that sort of miniature stitching. So I was looking for some other sort of small stitches that I could do, and I came across these kits. And I believe this is, at least in the English translation, it says Elisa. So this is a whole series. I think it's called Autumn in the City. Yeah, that's all in Russian. So I believe it's called Autumn in the City, and I think there may be 3 more of these. So if this was something that you liked and you wanted to do like a little vignette of 4 of them, there are 4 in this series. But I just really liked, again, the feel of this couple walking through this park in the fall. I thought it was amazing how they could create that detail with such small stitches. So that's one I'm doing down the road. And then this other one, which again, I just love the feel that you get looking at this little picture. And you can see these are 7 by 7 centimeters. So that's like 5 centimeters is 2 inches. So yeah, they're probably like 3 by 3 inches, maybe somewhere around there. So they're quite tiny. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And then I know I talked last month about trying to stay off the buy and sell groups, the de-stash groups. I wasn't very successful in staying away. So I did find a few more things. So what I got is this sweet little Bent Creek, the Plum Berry Sampler. I'm not really a sampler stitcher, but I just thought this was really a really sweet little small. I think it's small. I don't know. How many stitches is it? It says the frame size is a 4 by 8. Anyway, I thought I just like the little bird and I like the colors. I'm not opposed to stitching alphabets, but and I really like Bent Creek, so I thought I'd snatch that one up. And then the other ones that I got are both by the Drawn Thread, which again, that's a designer. I've looked at their patterns many times and thought about buying them, but just never have. And so these ones came up on this buy and sell group, and I just thought, you know, I think I'm gonna get them. So there's this one called For the Birds, which again, I like the color palette. I like all those fun different birds. And there's actually a little cat. I don't know if you can see the little cat down here. Hi, Ollie. So yes, I thought that would be fun. I know they do a lot of specialty stitches, which I actually kind of like trying different stitches sometimes. So I think that was part of the reason I wanted to try some of their charts. And then I found this one, which I don't know if I've ever seen it before. It's called Random Thoughts. And I just loved how eclectic it was. You know, there's an alphabet there, but you don't even necessarily recognize there's an alphabet there at first. There's all kinds of little critters in there. There's a woman stitching down here with a cat beside her. The instructions, I believe, I haven't read them in detail, but I think they teach you how to do this hem stitch here. And then you also stitch this border bit out here. So I'm really excited to work on that. And it came with the silks and the charms for the pattern. So yeah. So I'm excited to start that someday. So that was all my happy mail, all the fun things that came in the mail. So let's jump into what I've been sewing this month. So if you're new here, I actually do have an Etsy shop. It's not a huge deal. I'm retired. I just like to sew. So every now and then I'll sew something and throw it up there. So I did decide, I had bought some Blackbird Designs fabric a while ago, like quite a while ago. I bought a fat quarter bundle. The name of the fabric line was At Home, which I think is based on the Jane Austen quote. And I had made a bag for myself and a friend a while ago, but I finally decided it was time to make some bags and put them up in the shop. So I did do that a couple of weeks ago, last week. And yeah, a lot of them are sold. I think the Blackbird Designs name is very popular with a lot of people. And if you like that aesthetic, sort of that little bit more vintagey sort of type of thing. So I do have one bag left. It's this one. So this is the palette. This is just a full fabric bag. And then that's the lining fabric. And then I did make some minis as well to coordinate with the larger bags, and these are little quilted minis. They have the same. Oh no, I use fabrics from the line inside these guys. So that's that one. And this one with the pinks. It's pretty. And it's got that fabric. Sorry. That fabric inside. So those are really fun. So I have a bag that I made myself. It's kind of got the more of the pinkies and tans in it that I really like. And then I did just, when I was buying some finishing fabrics the other day, I saw some really pretty fabrics at the fabric store that I thought I would pick up and make some bags for the shop for the summer. So, so I have these two that coordinate. Oh, they're so pretty. These are the same line, just slightly different colors, so there's those and those. And then this one, oh, this fabric is so pretty. And then I just got a really plain one because this fabric is such a big bold print. I didn't want anything to really take away from it. So this sandy sort of textured tone on tone. So yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'm probably going to start cutting some of that later this week to make some bags. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. And I actually just ordered a bunch of fabric online that should probably come next week or the week after. That again, I'll get making some more stuff and get it up there. So then we're going to jump to my next segment that I call Fun Finds on Instagram. So I was sort of looking on Instagram for some finishing ideas. You know, I finished Christmas Village and I knew I wanted to do it probably as a wall hanging because it's quite large. And that's what I've done. I'll show you in a minute. But I was looking on there for some other finishing ideas. And I stumbled across a finisher called Starlight Studios, and I'm probably late to the party. Probably you guys have known about them for a long time and probably follow them on Instagram, but I hadn't discovered them. But when I was looking for finishes, I kept seeing, oh, that's a nice one, and I realized it was always this Starlight Studios. So they do a great job of finishing. So I think I'm going to show you my Christmas Village first, and then I'll say some more about that. So, are you ready for Christmas Village? I finished it as a wall hanging. There it is. So, what I decided to do was kind of create my own frame. So I did like a chocolate, kind of like the 3371, a chocolate brown here. And then I did a red that matches this deep red and a creamy white to bring out the snow. And then this fabric is just the backing fabric. I've done like a self-binding like I do with the project bags. I just put my name and the year down here. And then I created these little pockets and just have put a rod in to hang it up. It's not perfect. The top ended up being a little bit arched. I've never done anything like this before. Because it's so big, I was thinking a wall hanging would be the way to go. But in doing it, I realized because it's so big, it's a lot of fabric to work with. The other thing you can sort of see is there are sort of ripples in the linen, and I've ironed and ironed and ironed. I don't know how to get those out. I debated whether to use an interfacing or not. And I did. And so I'm not sure if that's why I ended up with the ripples, because the linen wasn't completely flat when I put the interfacing on. If it would have been better without the interfacing. If you've done something like this before and you have any advice for me or anybody else reading the comments, please feel free to leave that advice down there. But it's not going in a contest. It's just going to hang on my wall at Christmas time. And I'm certainly happy how the fabric part came out. I just wasn't sure how to make the linen look nice. So when I was looking through Instagram, I saw that Starlight Studio had a finish for Christmas on the Farm. I think that's Little House Needleworks. Here's a photo. So that is a big square one that I've seen lots of people get it framed. I don't know if I've seen anybody do it as a wall hanging. I've seen somebody do it as a pillow. And I think I actually own that series. It was a gift to me by my friend Gail from Australia. Hi, Gail. So I had thought I would maybe stitch it and either create a pillow like Gail did or do it as a wall hanging. But to be honest, after doing Christmas Village, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a wall hanging on something that big again. I might do a wall hanging on something smaller that would be a little more manageable, but not on something that big. So this picture, she's obviously finished it on matte board or foam core sticky board, and then just done sort of the traditional sort of Priscilla type finish with the cording around the edge and the fabric behind type of thing, and put it on either a board, or I don't know, she maybe made a frame out of molding or something like that. But I'm thinking that's what I might do, because then I can, you know, pin it or lace it and get that linen taut so that I maybe don't get those ripples or unevenness in the linen. So, but I just thought that was a really nice finish, the way she had finished that in that style. So I was looking through some of her other ones. I like this one. So that's sort of a finish just on, you know, you can often get those little slatted boards. You can get them at Walmart or Michael's. They're usually unfinished wood. Sometimes they are whitewashed or something. But yeah, that's a really, I think, simple, easy way. And I actually do have a small square one that I might put the waxing moon seasonal birds on, that I can switch them out. The other thing that I never think about, because you often think about when you finish something that you should put it in a frame, and that can be a challenge. Number one, finding the right size of frame. If the frame isn't deep enough, you can't get the backing on it, so then you have to MacGyver something on the back. So so this one you can sort of see, I'm pretty sure she's just put the mat board and stuff on the back of the stitching and just put it on top of a frame. And I've seen Helen D, I think, do this before. I'll link Helen's channel down below. Again, I'm a little late to the party on Helen's channel, but I'm sure a lot of you probably follow her already, and she has a lot of finishing ideas. But yeah, I've never thought about actually just setting the stitching on top of a frame. So you still see the frame around the edge, but it doesn't have to fit specifically in the opening of the frame. So I thought that was kind of a neat way to finish something. The other fun thing I saw was this one, which again, I've never thought about doing that. You know, you see flat folds, or I hear about people talking about flat folds. I know Ivana Pfeiffer has a great tutorial on doing flat folds, but I always thought, oh, they're square, rectangle, you'd put something square, rectangle on it. But this one, Starlight Studio, has put a circular pattern on the square flat fold, and that looks really cool. So that's kind of a neat idea to keep in the back of my mind for finishing down the road. So then, yeah, I know Priscilla and Chelsea often do finishes, and they put them on the front of things, often metallic things, so that you can magnetize them on. But Starlight Studio had some really nice ones that I really liked too. So the first one that caught my eye was this Christmas box. They've put it on the lid of the box, And again, you see these boxes a lot, like at Michael's and stuff at Christmas time. And they're quite pretty on their own, but I never thought about putting a cross stitch on the top of one. I think the tricky thing would be matching the colors, right? So that might be the kind of thing, if you're thinking about finishing something that way, to buy the box first and then maybe convert the colors of the pattern to coordinate with your box so that it all matches. But I'd like to try something like that too. But she also, or they also, Starlight Studio also did, oh, there's this neat little wooden, it's not really, I don't think it's a planter box. They just put maybe some flocked greenery in it and then the Christmas stitch on the front of it. But I thought that was really pretty. And then, of course, the metal, right? So there's this really neat metal basket that they had that they put, again, another circular thing on, which I wouldn't necessarily think to put a circular one on there. But I thought those were all fun finishes. And then there were these really neat ones. So, yeah, this one with the watering can and the tulips and the little stitch small, and rather than maybe making a pillow and putting in a dough bowl, it was done with a flat finish and put on a little wooden pick so that you could stick it in. And again, I think I've seen Helen D do a finish like this before too. But yeah, an alternative, right, to having a bowl full of smalls is you could make these little seasonal displays or decorations and just put those in on a little wooden skewer. So they're sort of poking out of the greenery or the flowers, just to add a little bit of interest. So the other one was this really fun wheelbarrow one with a fall, I think it's fall. But anyway, really fun wheelbarrow one. Looks really cute. And then the last one that I noticed that I thought was, again, a bit of a game changer for me is they, Starlight Studio posted this photo that they have these finishing blanks in their Etsy shop, and I will link the Etsy shop down below. And I went there and looked and got really excited because what a great alternative if you want to do some finishing yourself, but you don't want to do all the finishing yourself, or you don't want to send your stitching off to a finisher, but you like, you know, some of their ideas and stuff. They have a ton of these different blanks that you can get. Some of them are flat folds, some of them are flat finishes. Some of them are for specific series that are out there, I believe. And all kinds of options for colors and things like that. So, and I just think they have a really good, or for me anyway, I really like their aesthetic and their color palette that they tend to use. So, the sad thing is I realized they don't ship to Canada. So for us Canadians, it's maybe not an alternative, but if you're in the US, again, you're probably aware already, but if you're not, go and check them out. And as I say, I'll link the Etsy shop down below. So yeah, so that was my fun find on Instagram this month. So now I'm just going to slip into plans, and then we'll be finished. So for the month of June, I'm going to continue with my rotation with my 4 projects and my temperature cell. Because I finished Christmas Village, I can pull another whip out of my whip pile to slot into that spot. So I'm picking another medium large project, and I'm picking sort of like the oldest whip in that category. So that happens to be actually this Gifts for All stocking, which just ironically was chosen to work on. So this one's going to stay out and it's going to get slipped into that spot. And I'm hopeful, again, we all say this all the time, right? I'm hopeful that it won't take me long to finish this. But I do know there's, you know, it's a dimensions kit. There's a ton of back stitching. And as I say, there's that cording that I've never done before. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then I think I'm going to work on Cute Kitten as my Sunday stitch in June, just to get into the flow of it and get a feel for it. I just don't want to put it away and not pull it out for 6 months and then sort of forget kind of what I was doing, sort of thing. So I'll just make a little bit of progress on him in the month of June and then decide if I tuck him back into the whip pile or what we do. But so those are sort of my plans, where things are going to go. So thank you again, everybody, for stopping by today and letting me share my stuff with you. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.